Hi guys, welcome to everyone who has come here to read my small story. Before I start, I must warn you that I will be talking about my infertility here, and the things that my sister-in-law Ava said were downright nasty. So consider this a trigger warning if you have trauma related to infertility. So let me begin by saying that Aidan is my husband and the absolute love of my life. We really have a strong marriage and great careers. We were happy and had everything in life except for just one thing. We wanted kids but somehow couldn't have them. After numerous rounds of tests, I found out that I am infertile. The news devastated us, especially since we both wanted kids. Thankfully, my mother-in-law, Deanna, was a great support during our tough time. We thought that my sister-in-law, Ava, was too, until she decided to say something unthinkable. It was just a week after I discovered that I was infertile. I was in a really dark place, so Aidan invited his mother and sister over to offer us support. They both came, and we were genuinely happy to have family around during these tough times. Ava, who has been a single mother since her husband passed away, also made time to support us, although she had a very different agenda in mind when she came to visit. That became very clear when she said, "I can't believe Aidan will never have kids now. It's so sad that he's perfectly capable of having kids but can't because of your infertility." "I feel terrible about it, Ava. I don't know why this happened to me. I wish things were different. We really wanted a family." "What can you do, Sky? This is all a part of God's plan. You know, God only blesses the best mothers with children." "What is that supposed to mean, Ava?" "You know, the fact that I have 3 kids while you can't even have 1 kid really says everything. God knew that I would be a good mother, so he showered me with kids. But he must have known that you were a bad candidate to be a mother, so he didn't give you any." Ava's horrible words literally made me burst into tears. I was crying my eyes out while she was straight out smirking at me. Her words really hurt me, and I didn't even know what to say. I was already pretty vulnerable, and this meeting was supposed to make me feel supported and loved. Instead, Ava took this opportunity to hurt me when I was down. I just couldn't stop crying from the emotional hit that Ava dished out. Aidan was super furious on my behalf and stormed at Ava, saying, "What in the world is wrong with you, Ava? Are you saying that my wife is being punished because she can't be a good mother? How can you even say those things to her?" "Well, I'm not wrong. Think about it carefully, Aidan. Why else would Sky turn out to be barren? You really landed an unlucky woman." "You have to be kidding me, Ava. You were being extremely disrespectful towards Sky. You need to apologize to her right now." "I have nothing to apologize for, Drew. I'm just spitting out facts. Sky probably deserves to be barren. It's God's work, after all." "That is enough, Ava. I will not have you insult my wife anymore. You are crossing all limits." Now, one would think that this was Ava's cue to shut the hell up. Both her mother and her brother were telling her to stop talking. Hell, my mother-in-law even asked her to apologize to me, but no. This is Ava we are talking about. She does whatever she wants with no regard for anyone else. So instead of shutting up, she amped up her nonsense and said some worse things. She said, "Calm down, Aidan. Your anger is uncalled for. As I said, I am simply stating facts. It's not my fault that the truth is unsavory. I called you here because we needed your support and love in these tough times, but you are just making things worse with your horrible mentality." "Aidan, I have come to support you. I know how much you wanted kids. It's already breaking my heart to know that. Mom, you agree with me, right?" "They can always adopt kids, Ava. You need to encourage them and support them instead of being so awful." "Mom, you don't understand. Aidan needs to have biological children. Adopted children just won't cut it." "What the hell do you mean, Ava?" "Listen, Aidan, I'm also here to give you some advice. You need to rethink this marriage and leave Sky. She obviously can't give you kids. She is utterly useless as a wife. You need to find someone who can give you biological children. Believe me, guys, all three of us were shocked into silence. I couldn't believe my ears that Ava was straight up telling my husband to leave me because I was infertile. Aidan and Deanna were shocked to their core. Their faces showed it all. I probably mirrored their expression as well. I was inching towards a bigger mental breakdown and could feel my control slipping. I hung my head in my hands and cried. Meanwhile, Aidan started to yell at Ava and said, "How dare you suggest that I leave my wife? You have the audacity to come to my house and insult my wife in front of everyone. You are a monster, Ava." "Oh, God, you really need to get your anger in check, Aidan. I'm only looking out for you. Instead of wasting your life on this barren woman, you should find someone better." "What the hell is wrong with you, Ava? When did you become so cruel? I didn't raise you like this." Ava seemed annoyed at their scolding and refused to accept that she was wrong. So guess what she did? She turned to me and started to address me directly. She said, "My mom and bro are trying so hard not to hurt your feelings, Sky, but you must know the truth, right? You really need to leave my brother. Let him have a good life. Even if you adopt kids, you won't be able to be a good mother. I just know it." "I can't believe you can be so cruel, Ava. You have no regard for others and their feelings. Don't you feel even a little bit of empathy for me?" "Why would I? It's not my fault that you can't have kids. It's all God's doing, I'm telling you." "You need to leave, Ava. I can't be around you right now." Ava started to get annoyed and was refusing to leave my house. She even got agitated and started to victimize herself, saying that I was kicking her out for telling the truth. But her attempts at victimizing herself didn't work at all. Instead, Aidan and Deanna actually forced her to leave the house. They were extremely pissed off at her and needed her to shut up as soon as possible. After Ava was gone, I cried into my husband's shoulder while he comforted me. He was also very pissed and wanted to seriously end all contact with Ava. He was trying very hard to assure me that he would never leave me, and Ava was just spewing lies. My mother-in-law also stayed back and comforted me along with my husband. It was because of them that I slowly started to feel better again, but the rage inside me hadn't died down. So when Aidan said that he wanted to cut off Ava, I agreed with him and said, "I don't want to be around Ava anymore, Aidan. What she did today was horrible. I don't think I can even look at her anymore. I guess it's better if we go no contact with her for a while, like you said." "I'm glad you agree with me, Sky. We don't need Ava's toxic presence in our lives anymore. It's just her kids that I'm worried about. I don't know if we should cut them off too." "Aidan, Sky, please don't cut Ava off from your lives, at least not for now. The kids really need you. Actually, you have no idea how much your nieces and nephews need you right now." "Mom, believe me, it hurts us to cut contact with them, but we just can't have Ava's toxic presence in our lives anymore." Deanna went quiet for a while. I was really starting to think that maybe she agreed with her daughter. Maybe she wanted me to divorce her son as well. My paranoia was getting the best of me, and I was really starting to have another mental breakdown. But I wasn't ready for Deanna to have that breakdown. Instead, guys, my strong and sassy mother-in-law started to cry out of the blue. She had her head in her hands and was bawling. Aidan and I were pretty surprised by her behavior. We didn't know what to think of her reaction. It was already a pretty shitty day considering Ava's horrible behavior, but Deanna's behavior was now becoming very concerning. I looked at my husband and signaled him to help his mom regain control over her emotions. We gave her a few seconds to calm down, and then said, "Is something wrong, Deanna? You had an intense reaction to what we said." "Mom, what happened? Are you really that upset that we want to cut Ava off?" "It's not what you think, guys. It's just that I don't want you to stop interacting with the kids. They need you. They need you more than you probably know." "Mom, what are you talking about? You're scaring us now." "Guys, there's something that I have been hiding from you. I should have talked about these a long time ago, but I had hoped Ava would change, but after the way she's behaved today, I can tell that she sees nothing wrong with herself. What happened, Deanna? You need to tell us. We will do whatever we can to help. Deanna looked at me with a very pained expression on her face. Her health was already declining, and she had been losing weight. We had noticed that she had been weary and sad for a couple of weeks, but we thought maybe it was because of her health. But now, looking into her eyes, I knew that her weariness was not because of her own health. She looked weary and a little scared. She said, "Sky, I need to apologize to you on behalf of my daughter. What she said wasn't true at all. I hope you know that. You're not a bad mother. In fact, I think you can be a great mom if you find it in your heart to adopt a child." Thank you for your kind words, Deanna. It means a lot to me. My daughter is also wrong about another thing. She is not the best mother. She is the complete opposite of that. I was ashamed to hear what she said. Mom, what's going on? Why are you calling Ava a bad mother? You sound very serious. Because it is serious, Aiden. I didn't want you to cut off Ava, not because I think she was right. I didn't want you to cut her off because I needed you two to keep an eye on the kids. Why, Deanna? What's wrong with the kids? Tell us right now. Ava has been physically abusing the kids and starving them as punishment. It's been going on for a while now. Aiden and I were completely shocked by this information. We simply couldn't comprehend the fact that Ava was being so cruel towards her own kids. Deanna's words sent a wave of shock through us. Aiden was open-mouthed when he stared at his mom while she cried. I got out of the shock first and said, "What are you talking about, Deanna? Are you sure this is the case? It's a little difficult for us to wrap our heads around this information." I found it difficult to accept the first two. That's why I never said this to anyone, but now I know I have to speak. Mom, do you know for sure? Is Ava abusing the kids? Yes, Aiden. It all started when I noticed bruises on my eldest grandchild. She was scared and didn't know what to say when I asked. God, Aiden, she was so scared. She begged me not to tell Ava that I saw the bruises. I asked the other kids later, and everyone said the same story. Did you talk to Ava about this? She really needs someone to talk to her. Aiden, I tried to talk to her. I told her that I saw the bruises and that what she did wasn't okay. She just screamed at me and told me to mind my own business. She did promise not to do it again after I pestered her, but since then she has refused to let me see the kids. I cannot imagine what the kids are going through now. I didn't push the issue because I knew you guys visited and didn't find anything amiss. If you guys cut off Ava, I don't know how I will keep track of the kids. We let Deanna spill her heart out. It was downright gruesome. She detailed some of their bruises, and I literally wanted to throw up. Ava was nothing short of a monster. I was so mad with rage and worry that I wanted to go to her house and shake some sense into her. Aiden looked like a volcano about to burst. He looked at Deanna and said, "Why didn't you tell us sooner? Hell, we could have paid closer attention to the kids for signs of abuse." I'm so sorry, Aiden. You and Sky were stressed out about your fertility problems, and I didn't want to disturb you anymore. I guess I also didn't want to believe that my own daughter could be so heartless towards my grandchildren. You've done the right thing by telling us, Deanna. No matter what situation we are in, we will always be available for family. Please remember that, Deanna. Thanks for saying that, Sky, but how do we proceed from here? I don't want you two to go through Ava's verbal abuse, but I also don't want the kids to get isolated. Now, this was seriously a place for concern. We were stuck in a stalemate and didn't know what to do. Deanna was right. If we continued to stay in contact with Ava, we would have to tolerate her verbal abuse. However, if we decide to cut her off, we will be leaving the kids to suffer whatever abuse she dishes them out. The problem was far from simple, and we immediately needed to come up with a solution. So I said, Deanna, we will continue to stay in contact with Ava. Are you sure about that, Sky? I can't see you break down over her insensitivity again. I don't want you to go through that. Maybe I can visit the kids and keep an eye on them. No, Aidan, this should be a group effort. I think we should continue visiting her and keeping check on the kids. It's important to know if Ava is still abusing them. I have a sinking feeling that she hasn't changed at all. The way she proudly declared herself to be the best mother just proves this. In that case, we need to gather evidence against her. She will never listen to us, Deanna. We need to report her to CPS to save the kids. If we push her too much, she will cut us off and isolate the kids. God knows what will happen after that. I agree with Sky, Mom. We need to get to the bottom of this and end her abuse for good. The kids deserve this much from us. Deanna looked sad but agreed with our plan. She didn't want to think the worst of her daughter, but she knew how stubborn and irrational she could be, so she gave us the heads up to execute this plan. For a whole month, Aidan and I visited Ava and her kids to gather as much evidence as possible. We were right in assuming that she never stopped abusing the kids. We found bruises in concealed places, and the kids didn't appear to be the happy and energetic children that they should be at their age. It was very concerning, and we knew we had to act fast. One day, we took the kids out for ice cream because Ava wanted some alone time. We gently asked the kids to tell us everything, and oh boy, the eldest kid broke down in the car. She cried and cried till she couldn't speak any more. That was our cue to end this charade once and for all. Do you think that we returned the kids to Ava and confronted her about her abuse? Oh no, we didn't do anything of the sort. Instead, we drove straight to the police station and called CPS on our way too. The kids told everything to the cops after we encouraged them. Guys, I can't even tell you the horrific details of what Ava was doing to the kids. They were downright awful. It broke mine and Aidan's heart to know how much they had suffered. The cops decided then and there that Ava would get arrested for child abuse and neglect. While they wrapped up the paperwork, Aidan and I went to Ava's house. When she didn't see the kids with us, she said, "Where are my kids? Why haven't you brought them back?" "You will not have your kids back, Ava. We know what you've been doing to them." "What do you mean, Aidan? This is just ridiculous." Ava was acting as if she had no idea what we were talking about. However, her voice had an edge of nervousness and she was shaking like a leaf. But her nonchalance and feigned ignorance was making us even angrier. Aidan absolutely stormed at her and said, "Do you think feigning ignorance will work on us? Your kids are riddled with bruises, Ava. We know that you have been abusing them. You even accepted that in front of Mom." "What I do with my kids is none of your business. You are the one to tell me how I should parent my kids." "That's where you're wrong, Ava. Your kids are our nieces and nephews. We care about their well-being too. What you are doing is not okay. You better keep your mouth shut, Sky. You are a barren woman who shouldn't have any right to tell me how to parent my kids. You don't have maternal instincts, which is why God made you infertile. So you better keep your mouth shut." There it was again. Ava would take any chance to humiliate me. I had no idea how she could act so shamelessly even after being caught. She was acting as if what she did was no big deal. The audacity of this woman is just astounding. Aidan was getting angrier by the second, and I actually had to hold him back from unleashing on his sister. I calmly looked at her and said, "Ava, you really are the prime example of how not all mothers deserve to have children. If you still think what you did was not wrong, you have another thing coming. Also, insulting me won't be of much help once your own actions catch up to you." "Oh, really, Sky? What are you going to do? They are my kids and I can do whatever I want with them. If you have a problem, I will just make sure they never visit you again. Now, return my kids before I call the cops." "Go ahead and call them, Ava. Also, you know what? There is no need to call the cops after all. They'll be here soon. I'm pretty sure they're on their way." Ava looked like she had seen a ghost. She never entertained the possibility of us calling the cops on her. She kept looking between me and Aidan to understand if we were threatening her or had really called the cops. She wasn't ignorant after all. She knew well enough that her parenting could get her in trouble with the law. She was now shaking while her smug attitude melted into fear. She said, "No, no, you're just lying to intimidate me. You haven't called the cops on me. Aiden, tell me you haven't called the cops on your own sister." "Oh, yes, we did, Ava. Sky's right. The cops are probably on their way here as of now. Just a few more minutes and you will have a shiny police car in front of your house." "How could you do this to me, Aiden? How could you do this to your own sister? I will call Mom. I'll tell her what you've done." "Go ahead and call her, Ava. She already knows what's up. In fact, she was the one who gave us the heads up about your abuse." "No. What have you done, Aiden? I may lose the kids. My kids will be taken away." "Well, looks like you're not the best mom after all. You insulted me, and now I guess God is punishing you for that. I guess you were right after all. God does have a plan for everything." Ava's eyes went wide as I threw back her own words. She never expected her own words to come to haunt her. Despite what many people may think, I never planned for things to turn out this way. I never wanted revenge. I was only doing what was best for my innocent nieces and nephews. It's only a bonus that I got to see Ava eat her own words. I won't lie, but it was a rather satisfying experience. I would have enjoyed it if I wasn't so worried about the kids. Before Ava could throw any more jibes at me, the cops arrived and arrested her. I don't know who posted her bail because her family never did. I guess it might be one of her friends. Anyway, while the investigation was underway, the kids stayed with us. They were relieved to be away from their mother, which is saying a lot. CPS took away her children and placed them with us because Deanna's health problems made her an unfit guardian. Ava got supervised visits, but it was a hassle to make the kids agree to see her. They were severely traumatized and didn't want to see their mom. In the end, they didn't have to for long because Ava went to jail for child abuse. She's about to lose her kids, and we have been thinking about getting full custody and making her terminate her rights. Things are still underway on that, but we will see what happens. For now, the kids are doing great, and I am glad I could help them out while getting some revenge against Ava.